The message arrived without warning, delivered from the sun-scorched clay of Europe to the rain-soaked hard courts of Washington. Carlos Alcaraz had been watching. The Spanish prodigy, a five-time Grand Slam champion at just 22 years old, had seen the impossible happen in real time. Alexandra Eala, a 21-year-old from a country with no tennis tradition, had just dismantled the world number 3, winning 9 consecutive games in a display of dominance that left the tennis establishment reeling. And Alcaraz, who had recently been a guest at the same Rafa Nadal Academy where Eala honed her craft, did something that sent shockwaves through the sport. He issued a warning that nobody in tennis could ignore. Nobody is safe anymore, he seemed to say. But what did he really mean? Why would a player who has conquered the sport's biggest stages acknowledge a rising star from the Philippines as a threat? And what does this signal about the future of tennis? Because if Carlos Alcaraz is paying attention, the rest of the world better be watching. The rain was relentless. On Sunday, August 2nd, 2026, the final of the Mubadala DC Open had been suspended with Jessica Pegula leading 6-4, 2-1. The world number 3, a two-time champion in Washington, was in control. The weather delay seemed like a cruel twist for Alexandra Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina who had already defied the odds by reaching her first WTA 500 final. But when play resumed at midday on Monday, something extraordinary happened. Eala didn't just fight back, she annihilated. She won the second set 6-4, and then she delivered a performance that will be studied for years. The third set was a 6-0 bagel, a perfect set against the top seed, a statement that echoed across the tennis world. She won 84.4% of her first serve points to Pegula's 56.5%. She was clinical, relentless, and utterly unstoppable. When the final ball hit the court, Eala collapsed to her knees in tears. She had become the first player from the Philippines to win a WTA Tour singles title. The victory was the culmination of an extraordinary run that had seen her defeat Olympic champion Zheng Qinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina Svitolina, and four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. For the Philippines, a nation of over 110 million people, it was a moment of unbridled joy. As the celebrations erupted in Washington, another story was unfolding thousands of miles away. Carlos Alcaraz, the Spanish world number 1 and five-time Grand Slam champion, had been watching the Eala phenomenon with keen interest. Alcaraz and Eala share a connection that goes beyond the tennis court. They are both products of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, the elite training ground that has produced some of the sport's brightest talents. Eala had even expressed a desire to play mixed doubles with the Spanish star, naming him alongside Novak Djokovic as her dream partner. The mutual respect between the two rising stars was evident. But Alcaraz's recent comments about the state of the men's game shed light on the warning that was now echoing across the sport. He had recently admitted that he was feeling the pressure of being the world number 1, acknowledging that the target on his back was bigger than ever. He knew that players like Eala, players who had nothing to lose and everything to gain, were the most dangerous opponents of all. Alcaraz understood what Eala's victory truly meant. It meant that the old hierarchies were crumbling. It meant that anyone from any country could rise and challenge the establishment. In a sport where the same names often dominated, Eala's victory was a seismic shift. She had just proven that no one, not even the world number 1, could afford to be complacent. The warning was clear. The landscape of tennis was changing, and the old guard was no longer safe. The tennis world erupted. The messages poured in from every corner of the sport. Manny Pacquiao, the legendary Filipino boxer and national icon, hailed Eala's comeback as the heart of a Filipino, calling her our new champion. Rafael Nadal, whose academy had shaped Eala's career and who had been in Alcaraz's position before, congratulated her directly, a well-deserved title for all the hard work. Andy Roddick, the former world number 1, called Eala the real deal, a name nobody wants to see early in a draw. Greg Rosetsky declared her the most exciting player on the WTA Tour. Even the Philippine president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., weighed in, posting his congratulations on social media. The victory was a testament to Eala's relentless improvement. Just a year after a painful loss in the Eastbourne Open final, where she had failed to convert 4 championship points, Eala had returned stronger, smarter, and more dangerous. She had won 9 consecutive games to close out the match against Pegula, surrendering just 8 points in the final set. The tennis world was left speechless. The message was clear. Alexandra Eala was no longer a promising talent. She was a legitimate threat. Her victory over Pegula was not a fluke. It was the culmination of a pattern. She had already defeated 6 of the world's top players, including Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon. She had won 9 of her last 11 matches against top 10 players. Her ranking was projected to climb to a career-high world number 20, the highest ever for a Filipino player. But it wasn't just the results that had the tennis world on edge. It was the way she won. She was fearless, taking the ball early and dictating play from the baseline. She was a left-hander, an uncomfortable matchup for any opponent. And she had the mental fortitude to handle the immense pressure of a rain-delayed final, a hostile crowd, and the weight of a nation's expectation on her shoulders. As Pegula herself admitted after the match, she's a great ball striker, a great player, a great competitor. It's crazy how she deals with the pressure every single week, which just shows her maturity as a player and as a person. As Eala packed her bag for Toronto and the Canadian Open, the tennis world was left to ponder the implications of her historic triumph. The warning that Carlos Alcaraz had reportedly issued was now being echoed by fans and analysts across the globe. If Eala could do this to the world number 3, who was safe? If a player from the Philippines, a country that had never produced a WTA champion, could conquer the sports elite, then the future of tennis had become impossibly unpredictable. Eala herself remained grounded, focused on the next challenge. "I have to be ready for the next match," she said after a victory. But the world had taken notice. The warning had been sent. And for the establishment of tennis, the message was terrifying. The new generation had arrived, and nobody was safe anymore. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the pristine hard courts of Washington, from the rain that tried to stop her to the crowd that roared her name, Alexandra Eala has proven that nothing is impossible. And when Carlos Alcaraz sends a warning to the tennis world, you know the landscape has changed forever. The game has shifted. The new era is here.